Hello world, Shelly here, and it's time for your Friday foundation fix, where you can get your fix of foundation reviews in between foundation fests. And today I finally got my hands on this. I've been trying to get this one for months. It's drugstore foundation from CYO. Got it at Walgreens. The light shades have been sold out for an eternity. And you guys have been requesting this for that same eternity. I ended up picking up two shades. One which I'm guessing will be my winter shade, the lightest shade 101, and one that I'm hoping will work now when I'm not tan, but I'm just not Casper the Friendly Ghost Winter Pale, and that's shade 104. Now, this foundation retails for $7. You get 1 fluid ounce of product. On Walgreens website, it's getting a 4.4 out of 5 stars with 28 reviews. Comes in 14 different shades, so not the best, but not the worst. It's described as a creamy, lightweight foundation that really goes the distance. Smudge and transfer free, this formula will leave skin looking fresh and flawless around the clock without the cakey feeling. Ugh! Yes, the ugh is in the description. 15, I apparently can't count. 15 medium coverage shades are available, buildable, and comfortable to wear. Virtually everybody can get in on the action. Now, one thing I will say about the shade range, they have not skimped on light to dark. They do address both ends of the spectrum. Where they're skimping is in the varieties of light to dark and then the undertones. And that's, if you have to have a smaller shade range, I would rather you be inclusive with lightness to darkness and then skimp on the undertones, because when it comes to things like that, it's easier to make it work in terms of getting wearing something that's just a little too dark or a little too light for you, but with bronzer and mixers and all different, you can make things work. So don't skimp on the inclusiveness of the lightness to darkness. If you have to skimp on the variations in between, skimp on the undertones. And so at least they've done that. It's a silicone-based foundation. It's got vitamin E, known to nourish and moisturize skin. Made in France. Shake gently. Apply using brush or sponge. I, of course, will do both to see if I have a preference one way or the other. The packaging is a plastic bottle with a pump. If you gotta give me plastic, give me a freaking pump. Keeps the oxygen out, less oxidizing, your product will last longer. You're not putting your grubby paws in there and getting germs inside. So I'm okay with the packaging, thumbs up there. Let's take a look at some swatches and compare these two shades of the CYO Lifeproof foundation to other drugstore foundations in my collection. Alrighty, let's swatch. First up is today's foundation, the CYO Long Lasting Lifeproof Foundation. The first shade I have is 101, which is the lightest shade and a pretty neutral undertone. Second is the CYO Lifeproof in shade 104, which is a little bit darker and a cool undertone. Third swatch is the L'Oreal True Match Original True Match Super Blendable Makeup in shade Neutral 1, their lightest neutral shade. Fourth is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation in Rose Ivory, which is a cool undertone. And last I've got the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte in shade 101 Classic Ivory. As per usual, I have primed with the Strivectin Line Blur Effector. I have already cleansed, moisturized, sunscreened my face prior to that. I am going to go in on one side of my face with a sponge. This is the OG Very Cat Eaten Beauty Blender. And on the other side, I've got my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. We'll see if one method of application or another is preferable. I'm going to use the shade 104. I think, I don't really have any color. My neck and chest are as pale as possible, but I still have a little bit of color on my forearms. So I think I'm going to go with 104. It's still a pretty light shade, so I think that's the plan. That's like 1.5 pumps. These are big pumps. Pretty liquidy, not too runny though. I'd say we're getting pretty light coverage with the sponge, but it looks really natural, and it's doing that your skin but better kind of thing, where I think it's just kind of toning down the redness, evening things out just a bit. I would say coverage is about the same either way. I think I'm getting a little bit better smoothing of texture with the brush. So let's see if this is buildable. I would call this light coverage right now. They did say it's buildable. I still have a little bit left from that 1.5 pumps that I put out. So let's just see if we can get a little more coverage in the center of my face. I think this looks really nice. The color match looks good in this lighting. I wish it was doing a little bit more to blur my pores. I can still see my pores. They don't look accentuated and it's not settling into them, but they're still visible. I think it's doing a little bit of texture smoothing, not a lot. I can still see a little bit of the texture on my cheeks of the sun damaged side of my face, but even the texture between my eyebrows is not terribly bad. I don't think it's accentuating fine lines. It's not settling into lines. It's not accentuating any of the things I want to hide. I wish it was doing a little bit better job of hiding the things I want to hide. But I'd say we're at a light to medium coverage, like a light medium coverage. It's a nice, very nice velvety matte finish. It doesn't look flat. It doesn't look dry. I like the finish. I generally like how it look. I wish I had a little bit more blurring here. I forgot to give you the little spiel on what we're starting out with. 43-year-old face. I've got some sun damage that I like to cover up, especially on this side of my face. I do have pores that like to be quite visible here on my cheeks and in between my eyebrows. A little bit of texture there. More texture on this side of my face than this one from driving years and years and years with no sunscreen on. So that is what we are starting out with. I'm a fan. I kind of like how this looks. We're also at the $7 price point, don't forget, and I got these buy one get one half off, so you can get a pretty good deal. I'm going to check the time here. It is 12:55. I'm gonna go put the rest of my face on. I'll be right back. Alrighty, keeping it simple today. I did not set this foundation because, you guys, I can't even feel makeup on my face. Like, I can't feel it. I feel like there's no makeup on my face and no transfer. Like, that is, I'm impressed right now. Comfortable, comfortable, comfortable. Had no trouble blending out concealer. Today I used the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define. I've got it in shade C3. And I didn't even set that, although my under eyes are so dry right now. I ran out of those eye masks that I'd gotten in last month's BoxyCharm from South Maine, and I went to order more, and the shipping is $10. I just can't, like, I just can't. I've been spoiled by Amazon Prime and every other thing. I think this foundation looks friggin' nice. Like, it's really nice. It's really comfortable. Went really light on my eyes. I did not even tightline. My eyes are watering like crazy. Let me tell you what else is on my face. The bronzer is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It bronzer, which is the dupe for the old Glam Bronze. This is in shade Light. For those who have not been enjoying my recent blush experiments, I went easy on the blush for you guys. This is the Milani Color Harmony blush in the berry shades. My highlight is the Physicians Formula Butter Highlight in Pearl. Favorite eyeballs are the ColourPop Element of Surprise Shadow Palette. Mascara is NYX Worth the Hype, which I think is worth the hype. And my lip is Laura Geller. What the heck is this? Why did I go high-end on my lip? I don't know. It was the first thing I grabbed. Color, I can't read it because it's like totally clear, white on white. Color something lip gloss. And that's what we got going on. So I will be back in a few hours with a daylight check-in. Then I will come back at the end of the night, hopefully still wearing some makeup from all of my watery eyeballs, and I'll give you my final thoughts. Hey guys, how's it going? We have got some rainy weather right now. I have not gotten a good look at this foundation in the mirror yet because I've been running around catching Pokemon all day. I'm recording this on the April Community Day for Pokemon Go, but let me try and get you guys a color match. It might be a smidge too cool toned and maybe a smidge too light, but overall here, there's my hands, neck, chest, whole 9 yards going on. I don't think it's too bad. I think overall it's super, super freaking comfortable. Yeah. What do you guys think? I don't know. I like it so far. Feels like absolutely nothing at all. Nothing at all. I'm gonna go buy an iPad Pro, I think, and then I'll be back tonight with my final thoughts. Hello, hello, it is black. Hello, hello, it is 12:09 a.m. That puts us at, we're in the 12th hour. We are just past the 11-hour mark, approaching halfway through 12. And let's see how the CYO is holding up. I have to say, it still feels like absolutely nothing. It's like it bonded to my face or something. I can't really describe it. But I had allergies all day and was messing with my nose, and there's like no movement on my nose. I had flecks of mascara here, and I was wiping my eye. You can't tell that I wiped my eye. So the transfer resistant feature of this foundation, I think, is freaking great. Super lightweight. On the downside, it's a smidge drying. Just a smidge. At this 11-ish hour mark, I feel like my skin looks a little dry. Like whenever you can start to see my crow's feet happening, that's when my skin is pretty dehydrated, because generally if I'm not crinkling up my face, you can't see them. But when my skin's dehydrated, you can. So I think this is slightly drying. I didn't think about it being drying until I looked in the mirror just now and thought, ooh, that looks a little bit dry. And then I thought, ooh, yeah, I guess it feels a little bit dry, but it's very minimal because I hadn't thought about it up until this point. So minimally drying, yeah, I would say it is. Let's take a close-up look. There might be a tiny bit of wear off on my chin. It's very minimal. There's no settling into lines. Even in my deeper chin lines, which is almost impossible not to have foundation settle there. No settling into my smile lines. There's really no caking going on around my nose. My pores are more visible now than they were when I applied the foundation. So I think that's just part of the overall dehydration, is making them look more visible. Same with texture, it just looks a little bit more visible than it did when this was first applied. But I do think my blush bronzer highlight is all still in place, including the highlight, which tends to fade if it's going to. It has not faded. I don't see any trouble where the concealer meets the foundation. I don't see any caking between my eyebrows. My forehead looks a little bit more dehydrated and a little more textured than it did initially. Again, I just think this is a slightly drying foundation. For maturing skin, there's no settling into lines that I've experienced, and there's really no major emphasis of texture or pores. By the end of a long day, you may see slight emphasis. So, if I had to give a grade to the CYO long-lasting foundation, Lifeproof. I do think it's Lifeproof. What's the grade gonna be? Normally, the shade range on a foundation like this would knock it down into the B range, but I kind of love this stuff. I'm gonna go A- because even though the shade range is a limited number at 15 shades, it does address lightness to darkness fairly well. It is slightly drying, but I think it handles maturing skin very well without settling into lines, without emphasizing texture and pores for the most part. I'm just impressed with the transfer proof, and I still don't feel like there's anything on my face. It's so weird. I like this stuff. I like this stuff. I'm going A-. It might become one of those like sentimental A's, even though it is flawed. It just has certain features that I thoroughly enjoy. We'll see if it gets there. I'll let you guys know. I am planning on starting a series called Foundation Follow-Up, where I will do a combination of reporting back on previous foundations that I've reviewed, if I was able to get them working any better, if they scored low when I reviewed them, or just re-reviewing really old reviews that I've done before to see if my thoughts have changed over time. And so that is in the works. That's something that I really would like to do. I've got it in the works. I've been taking notes on the most recent reviews that I've been doing to see if I've got more information to share with you guys. So that will be coming up. You can also check my website, geekoutofwater.com, and click the Foundation Fest link. That will take you to a ranked, sortable, searchable spreadsheet where I keep all the data for all of my foundation reviews. Give me a week or so to get this one added to that spreadsheet, because I have it prepared like right now, but I don't want to post it prior to the actual video going up, because then I'm just spoiling the whole video. So I wait till after the video has posted, and then I will go back to the website and update that data. So keep your eyes open for that in a week or so. If you have any foundations you would like me to check out, leave me some comments down below. Although I will tell you, I ordered 5 or 6 or 7 foundations so far in the VIB sale, most of which were recommendations from you guys. I also have a couple of natural organic foundations that you guys had requested that I have purchased. They are all my foundation bin over here. I don't know how I'm gonna get through them all. There's so many. There's so many. I'm gonna have to do like foundation mania is gonna have to happen, because Foundation Fest isn't gonna take care of it. Anyway, there's the longest outro of all times. Thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. Thumbs up if you like foundation reviews. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. And I hope you all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.